What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to Down to the Wire. I'm your host, Brian Costa.
And I'm Tyler Stringfellow.
And welcome in to the second annual Down to the Wire holiday special. Guys, we are so glad to have you guys in for this tonight. And I'm so glad to be back for a second year with some holiday cheer and some holiday news for you all. Obviously, we have Mr. Tyler Stringfellow on deck with us for tonight's episode. He is in tonight, and we are so glad to have him here over break. Tyler, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been better, but I'm glad the semester is over.
Yes.
My finals went okay. Not the greatest, but they went okay.
Yeah.
Had a rough semester, so it was it's good to be home for a little bit. I go back to school roughly about 2 weeks to get in some good training for swim, and then back at semester 2. So it's good to be home for Christmas.
Absolutely.
Good to see the fam.
Well, Tyler, you know what they say: minor setback for what? A major comeback.
Oh yeah.
So there you go.
Comeback season.
Listen, man, you whatever problems or whatever you had this past semester, that's all going to be gone. 2021 is over in 8 days now at this point, like less than. So we're pretty much almost done with this crap. So here is to that.
Hey, let me just throw those problems in the trash, okay? Toss them in.
Love to see it.
Toss them in.
But man, I am so glad to be on holiday break myself. And I am so excited to talk some sports news with you tonight. There's a lot of sports news that's making kind of people a little bit nervous lately. I know myself.
Nervous, yeah.
I know for myself, I've been pretty nervous. I am hopeful that things are not going to turn into March of 2020 where we had to lock down and shield ourselves from the world again. I am hopeful that this is not the case. And I guess that kind of leads me into the first topic of the night. And that is that I was just perusing the internet, watching some ESPN, trying to see what I wanted to talk about on this show. And I see that Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, is talking on ESPN, and he's going on and he's just being interviewed. And they end up saying to him, and they basically say, hey, you guys are having a ton of COVID cases right now. Apparently over 90 players in the NBA have tested into the COVID protocols. And they end up saying to Adam Silver, are you going to shut this thing down? Are you going to try to stop like the spread of this thing and try to, contain it? And he said, absolutely not. That is not in our plans right now. And we are going to chug forward. Now, they said that they're going to have some contingencies in place, some stuff here and there, but they said, as of right now, there is no plans to shut down the league. So Adam Silver, thank you. Tyler, your thoughts on this, your thoughts that Adam Silver is staying strong, even though there are so many COVID outbreaks right now.
I mean, I like that he's staying true to his word. Yeah. But, I got updates roughly 30 minutes ago that Karl Anthony Towns and Bradley Beal both now went in to COVID protocols, which is not something you want to see because those are two stars. And I can't even there's so many stars that you could list off that are in COVID protocols. I mean, Trae Young's one of them. I know Trae Young went in. There's just so many people you could just list here.
Yeah.
I can't think of all of them off the top of my head because there's so many stars in the NBA today. It's ridiculous. But it's a tough circumstance because you got people that are testing positive for not having a symptom.
Yeah.
For me personally, that's just like I don't understand. I still don't understand any of that at all. Yeah. I'm having a tough time wrapping my head around that. So that doesn't. But you see these teams also. These teams, they're going down. All these players are going into COVID protocols, and you got them signing these players. Isaiah Thomas is one of them, and then ISO Joe Johnson is back in the NBA.
Oh man!
Finally, a man that went against Michael Jordan back in the NBA. Who would have thought, right? In 2021.
I mean, man, that was an insane storyline. I mean, to see all these guys coming back in the NBA. You talk about
Lance
ISO
Stevenson.
Joe.
Lance Stevenson's back.
Lance Stevenson's back. Ersan Ilyasova is back in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like 2014 again. I feel like a teenager, like a teenager. I don't even know how to explain it. I feel like I'm a child
again. Feel like a little kid.
I'm just seeing all these faces. I feel like I just stepped out of a time machine. I'm seeing Joe Johnson on the Celtics. Literally has not been the case since I was born. Was the last time this man was playing for this team. So I find this to be extremely entertaining. I mean, obviously the circumstances in which they're being brought back aren't the greatest, but to see Joe Johnson get another shot in the NBA, the man hasn't played since 2017, 2018. The last time he played, we were sophomores / juniors in high school. That's insane to think about.
Dude, I do. I don't even have any words. That's my only facial expression is.
Yeah, I mean
that's a long ass time ago. I'm now
yeah.
we're 20, 21 years old now.
Yeah.
Like that,
I mean,
like sophomore seems like forever ago, and I can't even imagine it for these guys.
Yeah.
These guys, it's like I was on this team. Oh my God, I can't believe I was playing for the Brooklyn Nets. I was playing for the Brooklyn Nets like 10 years ago. What happened?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it feels like some people it feels like yesterday, but I just I think that I do think that they need to start doing what the NFL is doing and testing people that are showing symptoms. And if you're vaccinated, you don't need to have these tests all the time.
Yes.
But again, this is why people are saying get vaccinated. This isn't a political show. But they're saying to get vaccinated so you don't have to get all these tests. So maybe you're not testing positive when you don't have any of these symptoms.
Yeah. And I think for the NBA and all these other leagues, I think they should follow suit of what the NFL is doing because they're essentially saying, like, the NFL basically said, yeah, you're fully vaccinated against this thing, and like if you can come in contact, you can do all this stuff. But if you don't have like a sniffle or anything like that, you're going to be good to go. We're not even going to worry about testing you. And I think that's the way the world should go. Frankly, I think that the NFL doing that is a good step, not just for sports leagues, but I think for the rest of the world, of where it's like, hey man, if you're not sick, you should be able to go out and just be a part of the world again. I think that is just the way this world should go, I think personally. Yeah. And I think that it would be a great precedent for the NBA, because I think a lot of these guys in these COVID protocols, they have, I think Silver also said predominantly all of them are have the Omicron variant, which is like the now predominant variant in the United States. Yeah. And from what I can tell, it basically that thing just spreads like wildfire. It's just like, if you're just like in a room with it, it's just like, okay, you're gonna get that. But the severity of it,
I'll get it.
Like,
I'll get it.
It's
I'll
like
get COVID thing.
It's like standing in the middle of a field of mosquitoes and not having any bug spray on. It's just gonna get you. It's just
it's getting it. You're gonna get it.
It's gonna happen. You're gonna get bit. So I'm like, there's no way of avoiding it. But listen, I think that if you're not showing symptoms and you're in this situation, then I think you should be good to go. And I think a lot of these guys would get taken out of the COVID protocols because of this.
Yeah. And I can guarantee you, how many people in these COVID protocols are like vaccinated too? Why are they like, it still blows my mind why there's maybe like in these COVID protocols, if they're vaccinated, like why get the vaccine if you're just going to go to these COVID protocols like that?
Yeah. And I think it would also provide a good incentive for the players that are still hesitant about getting the vaccine to get the vaccine. And because it would be like, hey, if like you can test positive for this thing, but if you don't show any symptoms, like you're good to go.
Yeah. You don't have to go into these COVID protocols. You don't have to do any of this stuff. Like you're fine.
Like you don't have to ruin your life and stop living because of this thing. Like it would provide a good incentive. And I think that's what the NBA should adopt. I think the NFL was smart for doing so. Yes. And I think that's the way they should go moving forward with this thing. But Tyler,
the only time I will, before you say something else, only time I will say Roger Goodell did something good.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I hate that man. No, I'm from Boston. I'm from Boston. I hate that guy. I hate him. I hate Roger Goodell. He hates the Patriots. He hates Tom Brady. Tom Brady's on a different team, but he hates Tom Brady. He hates Bill Belichick. He's a loser.
Yeah.
But he is doing something good with this COVID protocols. And if you're having a symptom, you got to go through these protocols. Like that's normal. You don't show any symptoms, you're vaccinated, get vaccinated. You're not vaccinated, you need to have a mask, you need to be extra careful. They're doing it the right way. And I wish more of these leagues would do exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. And just like it's obvious, like the less guys you test, the less positive cases that you're going to have. I mean, it's just the thing.
Keep operations going then.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, listen, if there's some guy that's just like getting out of bed in the morning and he's like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Like, yeah, okay, keep that guy away from the facility. Like he needs to be treated. Needs to be treated immediately.
I also think that, like, I wake up. There are days I wake up in the morning and I feel like crap.
Oh yeah.
I also think there's a lot of people that are blowing their symptoms out of proportion, and that will go into these COVID protocols, and then we'll come back negative and like, oh, phew. No, dude, you woke up this morning. You left your window open this morning. last night while you slept, and it's 20 degrees. No wonder you woke up sick.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was a thing for me too. I mean, I remember last year during COVID, like during the 2020 semester of the fall, like I would wait, like we'd have to do, it was originally 1 test a week, and then it became 2 tests a week later on.
Yeah.
And I remember I'd wake up one morning and I'd have like kind of like a scratchy throat, and I'd be like, like, ooh, like that kind of feels weird. And I'd go for my COVID test. Then I'd like do the swab, like do all that stuff. And then I'd be like, I'm like kind of nervous about that. And then like you get the result back, you see that it's negative, and you go, oh, okay, so it is nothing. And then you forget about it. And I think that's what happens with a lot of guys. And when you have these premier athletes that have just been in this COVID bubble for so long, I mean, I don't know how you can't become a hypochondriac in it. It's got to be mind numbing.
Oh my, I don't know, man. I honestly, I can't tell you.
I mean, man. Well, you're a D1 athlete. You had to deal with like a bunch of the COVID stuff, especially last year.
Boy, did I! I had to deal with. Let's see. So, like for swimming, going up behind the blocks. You know, at a regular meet, like say in high school, you'd have heats 1, 2, 3. You'd have heats 1 through 10 lined up behind the blocks.
Yeah.
And now it's the official. Last year was the official. Once the people that are done with their race are out of the pool, then you can go line up behind your race. And that gives you no time to get like mentally in your zone. So it threw a bunch of people off. That was one thing that I hated. I get behind the blocks and I splash myself a couple times. I quiet down my head. I get into the zone so I can get up and race. You know, I had no time to do that last year. It was a struggle. Yeah. So it was definitely a change, but I can't even imagine what maybe these other leagues are going through with these COVID protocols now coming back. Because I think they're going to start coming back, because I know the NHL, you can't play in the Olympics.
Yeah, that's a big topic.
A COVID protocol.
Yeah, that's a big topic that's a big topic I'll touch on you with a little bit later in the show. Yeah,
we'll get to that. But that's a huge, like, COVID protocols are just awful.
It's crazy. And I think that I hope the NHL, not the NHL, again, we'll get to that in a second, but I hope the NBA is able to just kind of get past this, because I think, listen, I hopefully think we're past the days of Rudy Gobert testing positive and we shut down like the entire operation. I mean, I remember when that happened, and I was just like, whoa, like this is nuts. But at this point, like people testing positive for COVID, especially like, you know, top of the line healthy people, it doesn't give it. I remember when Rudy Gobert tested positive and then Donovan Mitchell did. Like I remember my heart dropped. I was like, oh my God, like what's going to happen to these guys? Because then it was like Tom Hanks and Kevin Hart, and it was like, oh no, what's going to happen to these guys? And then luckily they, like, thank God they all recovered. They were perfectly fine as a result of it. And like, we're in a good spot now. So I think that, I think that fear of it for a lot of people is gone, knowing, all right, these guys are top of the line. Like they're in the best shape of like that a human can be in. I mean, so I think that, you know, that initial fear for a lot of people, especially in those areas, is gone.
Yeah. It's just, it's tough because you got, I don't want to get too into the whole COVID thing.
Yeah, no.
But it's just like, I don't get how a lot of these guys that are wicked healthy end up testing positive and they just have no symptoms.
Yeah.
But again, that's why these leagues are making the COVID vaccine, like, go get it. You know, if you get it, you'll be able to play the entire season and you're gonna be perfectly fine. But it's just, I don't get it. But I think we've reached a point where we should switch this topic.
Yes.
But we're gonna shift to the next one, which is the Staples Center.
Yeah, I mean, talking about something else that you know, one thing that we hope is gone, but this is something that we really didn't want to be gone, and that is the Staples Center, the iconic building that hosted the LA Lakers, LA Clippers, LA Kings for so many years. Saw so many great moments inside of it. It is officially no more. As of December 25th, the Staples Center is going to be officially renamed to the Crypto.com Arena. It was a part of a $700 million naming rights deal. I mean, it's an incredible just precedent to be set. I remember when this deal went down, I was planning to get this in the show, but stuff kind of fell on the back burner. And now that we're close to the day that it's officially taking over, you're seeing a lot of people voice their reactions to it. Listen, the Staples Center, man, iconic building. I mean, the Lakers have obviously played in have obviously had other iconic arenas. You think of the Inglewood Forum and other places that they've played, but
yeah,
the Staples Center, man, is special, especially just because of what, you think of Kobe Bryant, you think of Shaquille O'Neal and what those guys were able to do for that building. The three-peat with Kobe and Shaq, the additional 2 championships that Bryant provided later on down the line. I mean, it's been the Staples Center since 1999, and it's basically just become, for lack of a better word, a staple of Los Angeles culture. Like you can't go anywhere in LA without hearing about, the Staples Center. And it's just like, from what I can understand, if you're a kid that's an aspiring basketball player in Los Angeles, and frankly anywhere, playing in the Staples Center is the peak of basketball.
Yeah.
It's that in Madison. It's that in Madison Square Garden.
Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. And I think it has a little difference now that he's not with us anymore.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Kobe Bryant. But like you mentioned, Madison Square Garden, the Staples Center are 2 of the most iconic stadiums in the world.
Yes.
Everybody wants to play there. Every athlete every basketball player, every hockey player dream of playing there. Every performer, like music singer, dreams of performing there because they'll sell out, and it's so iconic. You got so many great artists that have played at these venues.
Yeah, and I mean, listen. Luckily, here's the thing: they're not tearing down the Staples Center. Thank God.
No,
I don't think you can. It's just a new name on it. But and listen, I understand what Staples is. I understand that it's a store and that I've been to Staples before. I understand what it is, and I understand like it shouldn't be the biggest deal that they're renaming it. But at a certain point, man, like you think about it, in certain stadiums, like they can have a brand name in the title, and it kind of just becomes synonymous with it. It's almost kind of it just proves as to how brilliant the marketing can be. Because I think a Staples Center, and frankly, I don't think of the store Staples. I just think, that's where the Lakers play. That's where everything has happened. And it's like that with a couple other places to me, where I think of there are just a bunch of other stadiums that have these type of names, and you can't really associate them with anything else. I think of Gillette Stadium, obviously for the New England Patriots. Obviously,
Tom Brady.
Yeah, you think of Tom Brady. You think of all the championships that won through the games played in that stadium. But obviously, they're just kind of a razor company. They make shaving razors and everything like that for men and whatnot.
Yeah, it's not something you really think about. Like the sponsor of the stadium, it just kind of name is just kind of there.
Yeah,
but
I thought of some.
Like I said, you got TD Garden too. TD Garden is a very famous place, but it's mostly known as the Garden here. But that TD, you don't really think. To be honest, I didn't really pay attention to it up until maybe like 3 years ago that it was part of TD Bank. I just thought it was the name.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
it used to be the Fleet Bank Arena.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Yeah,
My dad was mentioning that tonight at dinner.
Yeah, it used to be the Fleet Bank Arena.
No one liked it, so I had to change it back.
Yeah. Some other names that I thought of, it was the Rogers Center up in Toronto. A lot of people don't know, but up in Toronto, Rogers is a type of cell phone service that they have up there. So like AT&T and Verizon down here in the States, they're up there in Toronto. You have Rogers, you have the Bell Center, which is another center that they have up there for hockey and whatnot. And it's just a bunch of different things that you can do. And then finally, just another example that I threw in there was Great American Ballpark over in Cincinnati. You think of
Ford Field in Detroit.
Exactly. I mean, and I chose Great American Ballpark just because you just think of the name Great American Ballpark and you just associate, like this is like the staple of baseball. And like, this is where like it's just like
the definition of
baseball. It's a baseball mecca. And that's what you think about it when you hear the name Great American Ballpark. But Great American is an insurance company. That's what they are. That's it. So listen, I don't know about you, but I think that there are just some names where, listen, you can buy stuff out and you can do all this, but I don't think anyone's ever gonna be referring to the Crypto.com Arena as anything else than the Staples Center. I think that's at least what it's going to be in my mind. Now, I've been hearing some people throw around, we're going to call it the Crypt. And I'm like, that's kind of a catchy name. I wouldn't I'm not.
I'll give them that. That's kind of catchy. That is kind of catchy.
I'm not going to hate on it, but man, that building's always just going to be the Staples Center to me. But what are your thoughts?
I mean, I was listening to some people talk about it, and obviously people have different opinions. Oh, that's the place that Kobe and Shaq built. That's the place where many great performers have performed.
Yes.
I can't even name the performers that perform there, but I can guarantee you the list goes on from
Every
from
single
country singers to
every single major performer that you could ever think of has performed there. I'm just telling you right now.
Guaranteed Prince has played there, Led Zeppelin, all these guys, Michael Jackson. They no way they haven't played there.
Yeah.
But Shaq and Kobe is what I wanted to talk about. People are mad because a lot of Kobe fans are mad because it's the house that Kobe built. That was his stadium. And Shaq as well. Shaq was a huge part of all those championships in Kobe's early days. And I got a quote from Shaq, and it was like, "I'm glad they're taking down, taking the name down because it was our building. Staples Center belonged to Shaq and Kobe forever." And he's right.
Yeah, I mean,
he's
listen,
right, they're moving on. It's basically they're saying they're moving on to the next era. And I compare this to, it's the end of an era. They're like, all right, Kobe is gone. It's LeBron now. It's the come on, like we're moving on. This is the new Lakers.
Yeah,
this is the new, just the new LA. And it reminds me a lot of when Tom Brady left here. The Patriots changed their jerseys.
Yes,
they're end of an era. They're moving on.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I compare it to.
Yeah,
but it's still like you said, it's still different because it's not the Staples Center anymore. But people are going to call it the Staples Center for a long time. Oh, hey, there's a concert down at the Staples Center. You want to go? Oh yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
they're still going to call it that for I don't even know how many years, but it's going to take a while till the crypto center or stadium, whatever the heck it's called, is going to start cycling through into our vocabulary.
Yeah, that's at least the case for me. I don't know if I'll ever be able to adjust because of how impactful the Staples Center has been as like just an iconic place in my mind. I've never even
so many great moments in sports.
I've never even visited the place, and it has that kind of a meeting with me. And so I can only imagine what it has with the people that have actually been able to step inside there. And this is coming from someone that is a massive Celtics fan. I hate the Lakers, but I can have a massive
screw the Lakers.
But I can have
mostly because of LeBron.
Mostly because of LeBron, yeah. But listen, I can have a massive amount of respect for the greatness that has gone on within that building.
Oh, the championships that they brought. I mean, Kobe's got 5 rings. He brought the Lakers 5 rings himself, let alone all the other rings that have been won there from all the other great Lakers.
Well, the other Lakers played in the Forum, Tyler.
But you know what I'm trying to say? Get my idea? Yes. You know what I'm trying to say?
Okay,
yes.
Okay. Fine.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? You know
fair. Okay, yeah, fair enough. You know what I'm saying? But no,
I'm talking about people. I'm talking about like Shaq and those guys.
Yeah. No,
Shaq helped. Shaq helped.
You got Derek Fisher.
Exactly.
Yeah. He had a bunch of guys. Robert Horry.
But it's just
7 chips for Robert Horry.
Yeah. Yeah, but like the LA Sparks as well. The LA Sparks have had some great memories there. I'm pretty sure they won back-to-back WNBA finals.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and LA Kings won a couple Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head if it was in there, but they brought them to Staples Center.
Yeah.
No, it's iconic.
Yes.
It's something that is you're not gonna forget.
Yeah, absolutely not.
But people are forgetting that the stadium isn't moving.
Yeah, but like the way from the posts you'd see on social media, you'd think that they were like imploding.
You'd think that the stadium was getting blown up.
Yeah, like that's the thing.
And they're building a new one.
And I think that's why I'm having such an emotional attachment to it, Tyler, because I'm seeing all these posts. I'm just saying, remembering the Staples Center, and I'm like, it's still gonna be there, right? Like,
did it get demolished yesterday?
Yeah.
Did I miss something?
Yeah, no, it just makes you. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe once they start playing it again, I'm just gonna be like, okay, like whatever, and that's probably how I'll treat things because that's how I treat a lot of things. But yeah, I don't know, man. I did like the way you treated the way you compared it though to the new Patriots jerseys. But I think that kind of leads to a good transition. So going off of the Lakers into the Patriots, as you made a good connection there, I wanted to talk to you about them and. They and kind of how they need to rebound this Sunday. So obviously, for anyone who did not watch the game on Saturday, myself included for the most part, because I was watching Spider-Man No Way Home during the Patriots game, and thank God, great decision on my part. The Patriots absolutely just got their Yeah, I can't even describe it. They just got it handed to them on Saturday by the Colts. They made a nice comeback by the end, but really just was a poor showing all around for the team, and really just couldn't muster anything up. Listen, Carson Wentz was trying to hand us the game. I'm not saying that wasn't happening, but man, like we just did not show up to perform that day.
They turned it on way too late. They came out and looked like they looked like the old Patriots from last year and at the beginning of this year.
Yes.
They looked awful. Mac Jones was making a couple mistakes. He was making some bad throws.
I mean, he had 2 picks.
Yeah, exactly. The defense was not stopping the run. Jonathan Taylor ran all over us.
Yeah.
And he burst out that, 68-yarder at the end of the game to seal the deal.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, before that run, I was looking at Taylor's totals throughout the game, and I think he had like 14 carries for like 70 something yards, and I was like, all right, they're handing it off to him a bunch, but it was like
for Jonathan Taylor.
But it was
that's good.
Yeah, but I was like, all right, we're containing him. Like it seems like he's getting a bunch of we're giving it to him, but like they're giving it to him a bunch, but we seem to be containing him. And I was like, okay, this is solid. And then get out of the movie, go into Applebee's, and we're watching the end of the game, and then you just see Taylor rip off just a monster run. And I was like, wow, that's the closest thing to a dagger I've seen in a couple of years, where like you just watch as a fan of the Patriots, you just watch a play happen on TV, and you just admit defeat. It's like, okay, it's over.
Yeah, that was the nail in the coffin. That was the icing on the cake. However you want to say it, that was the game.
Yeah,
they're playing the Bills are coming up.
Yeah,
and this is a team that they just lost. If I'm correct, they did.
Yeah, I believe they did. Let me check on that. But,
yeah,
I mean, we beat the Bills last time, but man, you know how we won that game. That game we won was kind of a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, Mac Jones passed for he had 3 total passing attempts. No, the Bills won last Sunday. They beat the Panthers 31-14.
Okay, yeah. So we're still sitting at top of the AFCs, which is good. But we need to. If we win this game, this is huge. Yeah, it's huge because I don't know who wins the tiebreaker off the top of my head.
Well, I think as long as we beat Miami, then we should be able to handle it.
Yeah. But either way,
if we win this game and we beat Miami, but yeah. Oh no, we definitely need to win out.
We got the Jags come. We got the Jags coming here. Trevor Lawrence, Bill Belichick is very good against young quarterbacks and rookie quarterbacks. I'm pretty sure he's like 12-1.
Yeah.
But then we go to Miami, and that is the game that scares me. We don't play well in Miami at all. Tom Brady never played well in Miami, but but here's where I want to get your opinion real quick.
Okay.
Mac Jones is from Jacksonville, played in Alabama, both are warm weather. Tom Brady didn't play the best in warm weather when he was here, at least. In Tampa, he's just a completely different person, apparently.
Yeah.
But do you think that Miami game is going to be a struggle for us, or do you think Mac will be able to handle it perfectly?
I think we're going to struggle. I think that I don't know if that'll impact whether we win or lose in terms of that, but I also don't think the weather really has to do a big deal with it. Obviously, Tom Brady is a California kid. He was known as the California kid coming into college and coming to New England. So he has experience with, working in both warm and cold climates, because before he came to New England, he also was battling it out in Michigan. So I think he has a more diverse repertoire of working and stuff. I'm more worried about seeing Mac Jones work out in the cold than I am seeing him seeing him succeed in the warmth. That's at least how I look at it. I think that how he performs in the cold down the line is something that we're still gonna have to take a look at, because you saw that Bills game and we really have no idea how he performed, because Bill Belichick just bottled him up and basically could have thrown you or me out there for that game and really would have made no difference.
Yeah. And speaking of Mac Jones, though, obviously I'm a big advocate for Mac Jones. I think he's got great poise in the pocket. I think he's making very smart decisions. He doesn't have that many picks compared to a lot of the other rookie quarterbacks. Obviously, he's a rookie. Peyton Manning still has the record for most picks thrown, and that's Peyton Manning. So I'm not concerned about that. He's learning. but it's the decisions he's making are really like they're try to word this the right way. They really impressed me because he's not making these big mistakes or blowing these games out of proportion. He's making a little mistake, and it's like, oh, great, but we can come back from that mistake. You know, you throw a pass right into the dirt, and you're like, all right, you know what? That was his mistake. That was on third down. We're gonna come back next set of downs. Trust the defense. We'll get the ball back. We'll be fine.
Yeah. With Mac Jones, I don't usually see him make the dumb mistakes that a bunch of rookie quarterbacks make. Now, trust me, he's a rookie. He'll make mistakes where you'll just scratch your head and you'll go like, what the heck's going on? But for a majority guys, you don't see him, running across. Actually, you did see him actually in that last game, run across the field, throw across his back shoulder, luckily completed the ball. But I like that was one instance where I was saying, okay, Mac, you're lucky that you completed that thing. It was a nice throw, but that was a stupid decision that you did that. And but for the majority of the time, a lot of the bad decisions that you see Mac Jones make is actually because at least in my opinion, it seems that he overanalyzes stuff that's happening on the field. It's not that he isn't apt to handle stuff. It's that he comes from an Alabama system, which is extremely pro-like and, runs itself like a pro offense. And then you go to Bill Belichick, who's going to, run this thing like a military operation. So I think with Mac Jones, he's overanalyzing a bunch of things. He's anticipating the pocket to break down around him. He's anticipating a lot of things to go wrong. And I think because I think that he doesn't necessarily have a level of trust that that most veterans will have in their O-line and other guys yet, that he's compensating and making other kind of, dumb decisions in that sort of a way.
Or he's like you said, he's believing that the pocket is going to collapse automatically. So that's already a big mistake, because then he's going to try and force the throw way too early, and it's going to get picked, or the receiver, tight end, or running back is not going to be out of their break yet, and the balls aren't going to be there.
Exactly.
And I know that's definitely something that he's got, especially from the Tampa game. I remember the Tampa Bay game when we played the Bucs. They were they blitzed him heavily.
Yes.
So I wonder if it's starting to come into his head that this is the way it's going to be all the time, or not, or if you're right, he doesn't trust his offensive line just yet. He's a rookie. He's got to get to know. Because a quarterback and a center become like best friends.
Yes.
And I remember Peyton Manning and Jeff Saturday were like best buddies.
Absolutely.
Those guys went together like peanut butter and jelly. And I know that Mac definitely knows he's got a great offensive line in front of him when healthy. Mm-hmm. You got Trent Brown, David Andrews. Isaiah Wynn is good when he wants to be.
Yeah, but there are other times where you'll just watch Isaiah Wynn and he'll make you want to, run
cry yourself to sleep.
He'll make you want to run headfirst into a brick wall, and not in a good way. He'll just
And then you got Ted Karras. He's in there. Yeah. He's really good. He's back this year.
Yes.
And then Marcus Cannon, right? Is he still in the Yeah. Marcus Cannon. That's the other guy.
Mm-hmm. Marcus Cannon is extremely talented, but also is one of those guys that can really just infuriate me. Most of the time, he's doing his job. But what I can tell with Marcus Cannon is whenever he has a penalty, for whatever reason, it's the most egregious thing possible. He never really has a penalty that's kind of like, oh, like it could have gone here or there and he gets something. It's when he does something, he really just F's it up, and it's like, you got to be joking, man.
Big time.
But for the majority for the majority of the time, he understands his assignment. Like I can't really complain outside of that.
No. But like you said, this is a huge game for the Patriots.
Yes.
They need to get back. They're on a 7-game win streak. They're undefeated on the road. Mm-hmm. And they go into Indy and they just get their butts handed to them.
Yeah.
They just got, they got punched right in the face.
Mm-hmm.
And this is huge, especially because the team is very new to New England.
Yes.
And they don't understand. There's very few guys on this team that understand that what happens when in December we win. That is the way it rolls around here. Mm-hmm. Mac Jones, I think, understands that, and he's going to hold himself to that. Because I already know he's in his backyard running through his playbook with his wife, and it's like 20 degrees. Mm-hmm. He's definitely running through it. I believe in him. There are a lot of people that are doubting him because he's a rookie.
Yeah.
And they're like, is he gonna make these big mistakes? Is he gonna throw another INT? Is he gonna throw these incomplete passes? Is he gonna go like 10 for 30 on his passing and throw for like pass completions can be like 4%? Like, no. He's gonna go in there, he's gonna do what he's been doing all year, making the right decisions, throwing the ball exactly where it needs to be, where only his guy can catch it. And speaking about the only guy that can catch it, N'Keal Harry played pretty well in Indy. He had that great catch.
Yeah, he did have a great catch. It's the first time that I've really seen him have a good catch in a while. I mean, the Patriots the Pats have essentially just like shut him out of the offense entirely.
We've completely rotated him out of the offense in the rotation.
Yeah,
but so I don't know. I think because you got Kendrick Bourne on the COVID protocol, and you got Nelson Aguilar in concussion protocol. I think you'll see N'Keal Harry. I mean, he's dealing with a hip injury right now.
He's always dealing with something.
Because he's N'Keal Harry, that's why.
Yeah.
But I think you'll see him maybe be in the rotation a little bit more and trusting him to what we drafted him to do.
Mm-hmm.
And we drafted him to be a big, deep threat.
Yeah.
And, but he can also play on the slot if we need to. He's pretty fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you throw him in there just in case. But, man, I'm excited for this game against Buffalo. It's going to be a good game. I know it's a big win for Buffalo. So it's going to feel like a playoff game, even though it's not. Even though it's not. Josh Allen needs to be on his A game, and so does Mac Jones. And I love that because this game right here is showing where the NFL is going, and it's going to these young guys. Josh Allen and Mac Jones are two of the biggest upsides the NFL has right now. Obviously, it's Patrick Mahomes, and then there's Justin Herbert in the AFC.
Yeah.
And Lamar Jackson. But now you got Josh Allen's up there with all those guys.
Yes.
But now you got Mac Jones trying to prove himself to push up there with those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be a good game. Bill's got to coach it, and it's here in New England. What's better than that? What's better than to have a game on the line than in New England?
Yeah. I mean,
these fans.
I have to look at the schedule for or like the weather rather for the game on Sunday. Everything looks like it's going to be just fine when it does all go down. The only thing I'm kind of they
play on Sunday, right?
I believe so.
Sunday?
Yeah, the 26th.
Supposed to be 40 degrees roughly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
with a low of 31.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's going to be cold. I mean, but it's not going to be frigid. But it's
definitely going to be a good game. It should. That's all I can say. It's going to be a great. I can't wait. It's going to be such a good game.
I at least can say I at least hope that Mac Jones is passing for more than 3 yards in this game, so that way we can actually determine. All right, like Josh Allen, I think is going to have the better game. I think that like overall he might have a better overall game and will probably be able to show his talents more. But I'm more excited to see how is Mac Jones going to handle top-notch talent? Because unfortunately against the Bills, we didn't really get to see it. And when it came to it against the Colts, he struggled. So all right, Mac, you're coming off a loss. You're coming off a loss for the first time in a while. You're facing some adversity. How are you going to handle it? Are you going to get punched in the mouth again? Or are you going to get up and actually fight?
Yeah.
What's up?
Sorry. So I'm getting a no caller ID.
Oh no. Do you take it? Here is the question that we have.
Hello? Yeah? Oh. Can I call you back?
All right, guys. So Tyler's on mute right now. He just got a no caller ID call. Before we go into that, so obviously
I'll call him back.
What was that about, Tyler? Tyler, what was that?
Personal problem.
All right.
Sorry to take it during the show, but wow.
All right, guys. So I guess we have to break it.
Attack.
So, guys, we do have to break it live on air that Tyler has tested positive for PEDs and performance-enhancing drugs, and he will now be suspended by Bryant University. Tyler, we have you live on the scene now. What are your responses to this?
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Okay, fair enough. I think it's time to go on to the next topic then, and get away from this at all costs.
See, now that's gonna be funny. That's funny. But like I said, you like just to roughly quickly agree with you. Mac Jones proved it in a big time against Tampa.
Yeah,
Tampa and Dallas. He played pretty well, and obviously unforeseen circumstances. We lost the games, but he showed that he can play in these big time games.
And I mean, he should, yeah.
And win and put his team in a position to win. He drove down the field a little bit and gave Nick Folk a decent kick. But should Bill have gone for it? Should he have just went for the kick? I agree with the kick, but the weather didn't agree with us at all. But he can put us in a position to win, and he can compete. He competed with the greatest of all time. He can compete with Josh Allen. Now, we didn't see it the first time we played Buffalo, but I think he's going to show up. I think that Mac Jones is going to show up from the Dallas game, from the Tampa game. He's going to show up because let's be real, that Tampa game was a playoff game. Mm-hmm. That was as big as it gets. Tom Brady coming back here and playing a big juggernaut like the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yep.
So, and like I said, they blitzed in that game, and he knew it. So he's getting the ball out quick, and once he started doing that and making these throws, they stopped blitzing. They're like, all right, we need to keep him in the pocket because that's when he gets a little too comfortable and he makes these mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
When he gets a little too comfortable in that pocket, I think he plays very well when he's under pressure, which is a good thing to have as a quarterback when he plays well under pressure, because this is a very important game for New England Patriots, and Buffalo's going to come out swinging.
Yeah.
So well, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see it.
Well, it's a big game too, because I here's the thing. I throw out the first Buffalo game just because of the weather and how insane that was. So in terms of games where you faced real competition this year, you come out on the short end of the stick. This is starting to remind me a lot of the 2019 Patriots, like when Brady left. We started off 8-0, unprecedentedly good run. It was like, oh, Super Bowl for sure. We faced real competition against the Baltimore Ravens, get the crap kicked out of us, and it was like, all right, and that was a reality check. And the Patriots have kind of the Patriots, up until this Colts game, were kind of on that kind of a run. And I think they had a reality check. What? Who were they facing in that 7-game stretch outside of the Bills?
Are you kidding me? Let's just pull up let's pull up. Let's see. Let's pull up their schedule real quick, because they were playing some.
Since the Cowboys lost, Tyler, I'll help you out. Since the Cowboys lost, Jets were able to just massacre those guys. Chargers, legitimate win, but at the same time, Bill Belichick seems to have Justin Herbert figured out.
No. You know why? They have a great defense too.
Yeah. Okay.
We're pretty good against that team. Okay, keep going. Let's hear it.
All right, fine. Panthers. You really want to argue that?
Panthers,
garbage.
Solid. They're not terrible, but they're not good either.
We face Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is garbage as a quarterback. Browns Baker Mayfield was on half a, basically.
But that's a good man. Okay, so you're right. Okay,
listen.
Wait a minute.
Okay, fine. Go ahead. Go ahead.
These are 3 teams that were in Super Bowl contention and Super Bowl contenders, and still are considered playoff contenders. Cleveland, the LA Chargers, and the Buffalo Bills. We went into Buffalo and had the best game plan. Obviously, it wasn't the greatest football game.
You consider the Browns still to be a Super Bowl contender?
Yes, because
when
500. But it doesn't matter. When they're 100% healthy and Baker Mayfield is healthy, they're slinging it. I'm still a big believer in Baker Mayfield.
I'm a big believer in Baker Mayfield myself, but I don't know if he's going to be healthy again this year.
I don't know, man. That guy's getting his ass beat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's getting his ass kicked then.
But defense wins championships. That defense is unreal.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only reason that I still throw them in that Super Bowl contention, because if that defense gets hot, that offense is gonna rub off in the offense a little bit. They're gonna be slinging the ball. They're gonna get it to Nick Chubb. They're gonna get it to Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt needs to get back.
You're talking about the Browns defense, right?
Yeah.
The Browns defense that gave up 45 points to the Patriots. Browns defense, correct?
Bro, wait a minute. Exactly. That's my point. The Patriots torched them.
Yeah.
And they were one of the best defenses in the league. On paper.
Okay.
On paper.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, on paper means a whole lot. I mean, sorry, paper.
No, it doesn't, because my fantasy team was great on paper, but my fantasy underperformed.
Yeah, my fantasy team was great on paper too. I missed the playoffs, so paper really doesn't mean a lot to me anymore. Yeah. Okay.
This is me playing the world's smallest violin, Brian.
Yeah, I'm not really too worried about it, Tyler.
No, but those 3 games stand out to me.
Okay.
But also, like you said, the losses to Tampa and Dallas, I see those as huge victories as well as a loss. It's a loss on paper, but I see them as huge victories. Those are 2 definite Super Bowl contenders.
Okay.
Dallas, they have their moments, but when they're flying on all cylinders, they're Super Bowl contender.
All right.
Tampa, we obviously all know.
All right, fine.
But they competed and they went toe to toe with those 2 teams. We went to OT against Dallas.
Yeah, we did. But I think, unfortunately, during the course of the 7-game run, I'm not saying, Tyler, that the teams we faced weren't good. I'm saying that during the time we faced them, we've gotten a lot of breaks. I mean, let's throw out the Falcons game. Falcons are garbage. So on to the next game.
Falcons are garbage. Let's just on to the next game.
Yeah,
Jets, next game.
After the Falcons, Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans are a good football team. But when we faced them, they didn't have Derrick Henry. They didn't have Julio Jones. They didn't have A.J. Brown. They didn't have nobody. They were calling up practice squad guys. So that's why that's another game where, like we beat the Titans. That's not nothing that we beat them. But at the same time, they didn't have anybody when we played them. Yeah. So that's the thing. We've gotten a lot of breaks, and maybe we're not necessarily beating up on completely garbage teams, but even when we face a good team, we've caught a lot of breaks. The Bills game. The Bills are a good football team, obviously. But when we played them, a hurricane decided to run through Buffalo in November. So, yeah.
Brian.
What?
That hurricane, the little storm thing, affected both teams.
Okay.
You're acting like it's just going to affect, like the Patriots or like Buffalo.
I'm not saying
that affects everybody. That was a huge, huge win.
Yeah, it was a huge win, obviously, because we were able to survive a blizzard in Buffalo. I'm glad that everyone made it out alive.
No. What? It went away after like the second half.
Dude, the entire portion of that game was decided on what side of the field you were going on.
Oh wait, no, you're right. The wind was still there, but the snow wasn't. The wind was still there.
It's not the snow. Of course, it wasn't the snow. It was the wind. It was always the wind.
But 3 great wins against 3 solid teams.
Okay, yeah,
can't take that away from them. That's why
I'm not complaining.
That's why this team has been thrown into Super Bowl contenders because of those 3 wins specific.
All right, but down the stretch, listen, I'm worried about it because, like, let's just face it, they've gotten a lot of breaks. You can't ignore that, regardless of the good teams they face. They've gotten a ton of breaks, Tyler.
They have. Yeah. I'll give you that.
So I'm not saying
they played a bruised Baker Mayfield. They played a
battered Tennessee Titans.
Battered is just
that's an understatement.
Exactly. I guess you're right. The only team that really seems like a good win is LA.
Yeah, LA is a good win. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm like Buffalo again. It's nothing. It's not nothing, but we didn't really get to see them. We didn't get to see the talent completely fleshed out. That's the big thing too. Is like could Bill Belichick win a ground game? Yeah, he can win a ground game. But I'm more concerned. All right, if we're playing in a dome or we're playing in perfect conditions, which I know isn't a guarantee in January. But if we are playing in such conditions, is Josh Allen just going to torch us? That's something that we haven't been able to see yet. And it's not that I don't have confidence in the team. It's more just that I don't know what this team really has at this point in time still. And that's the thing that I think is still concerning because, up until this Colts game, we really don't know what these guys are. So listen, Bill Belichick is known to bounce back off a loss better than almost anyone. I think that that is going to fuel this team going into this Buffalo game. And I hope that we can pretty much almost seal up the division by beating them this Sunday.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game, man. I hope I'm just really excited for it to, get out of Christmas and then just get into playoff football. I love to see it.
It's one of the best times of the year.
Yeah.
And I'm in the fantasy football championship and I just won. So I'm in the championship. Actually, I don't know. It says weeks 15 and 16. I don't know what that that means, but
Uh,
yeah, man, it's weird. It says it's like weeks 15 and 16 are round one, round two is 17 and 18, but 18 is not even a thing.
yeah, there's an 18th week now.
Oh, that's right. Totally forgot.
You have your fantasy football league play on the last week of the year though. That's
I don't
dangerous.
know. Look at that.
Well, no, but
can you even see that?
Yeah, I can see that. Well, that's a
I'm the
custom
big,
set. Yeah, but
I'm the
that's
big Chungus man.
oh yeah. No, but here's the thing. That's a setting thing you can do. The fact that you're playing fantasy football on week 18 when most teams rest their starters, Tyler, that's scary.
Are you kidding me?
Did you not think that through?
I'm not the commissioner. My freaking dumbass roommate is.
Well, you should yell at your dumbass roommate because you guys are going to be playing guys because most of your starters are going to sit on the championship Sunday then.
Great. I'm going to kill him.
Oh, we should get him on the Zoom call. No, I'm joking.
Great.
But nah, man, I think that's I think we need to change the mood because I've kind of brought you down a little bit on NFL news. So this was something we hinted at earlier in the show, and it is over in the NHL, which we don't really talk about enough on this show. I talked about it actually in my last episode, however, with Joel Flam, aka Hey Kami. He's a big hockey fan, so I brought him on the show. We talked about the hockey season pausing for the holiday season with him because he's a big Oilers guy. So but there's some also big NHL news, which actually came out right after I recorded the episode. And it's that according to the NHL Players Association and NHL in general, all players in the National Hockey League will not be participating in the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympic Games. This is news that I'm very sad by because, frankly, I love seeing the best of the best compete. I can respect the 1980s Miracle on Ice team. That's one of my favorite movies ever. Like just all time. Love that movie to death. It's a classic, but I like seeing professionals on the ice.
It's nice specifically in hockey because you got NHL teams that are made up of all foreigners. Basically, the NHL is made up of foreigners. Let's be real. Yes. It's probably more foreigners than United States hockey players.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you the opportunity to see all these guys go head to head, but they're all playing on different teams.
Yes.
Like Team USA isn't even the best.
No.
Now you got Alex Ovechkin plays for Russia. Like Russia's one of the best. Canada's probably arguably the best.
Yeah.
But it puts everybody on an equal playing field.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike the NBA, when those guys go play.
It's not even a competition.
No, because half of the NBA is made up of American players.
Yeah.
But I will say I do like how the NBA is branching out internationally. Giannis, Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, but that's way more common in the NHL, and it makes it more interesting to watch. And obviously, hockey. Who doesn't like to watch hockey during the Olympics?
Yeah,
it's the sport.
I mean, I'm not even a big hockey guy, and I'll watch it during the Olympics.
But in the Summer Olympics, it's like two of the biggest sports to watch. Yes, is swimming and track. In winter, hockey is probably the most watched sport because it's even playing field.
Yeah,
I get a kick out of it, but also bobsled. Who doesn't love that? That's awesome.
Love the luge.
The luge, curling. I love watching curling.
Really?
Believe it or not.
It can. I like watching it for the comedy aspect of it. It just looks so funny to watch.
Dude, you ever play it on the Wii? It's awesome.
No, I've never played curling on the
Wii. Awesome.
Actually,
but man, it's just not. I don't like to see it because a lot of these guys want to play for their home countries and play in front of their countries for their countries, wearing their country's stripes and colors. And I'd hate to be the one to be told you can't. Yo, Tyler, you can't go suit up for your country. Like, no, you're not allowed to. I wouldn't be too fond of it.
No, I wouldn't be either. I from what I can tell, I think a bunch of players are disappointed, but at the same time, like with the COVID situation and also just like the way like China's handling a bunch of stuff, they just know it's going to be a mess. I mean, we saw how Steph was over in Japan during the 2020 Olympics. Very, very shut down. You're basically kind of just a prisoner in your own room. You really didn't have the traditional Olympic experience that a bunch of athletes have. And if that's what it's going to be like over in China, I can't really blame a lot of people for not really wanting to participate in that again.
Yeah, because I know I had a teammate that was at the Olympics representing the Virgin Islands.
Oh, wow.
And she said that.
From Bryant?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I remember this. Yeah.
Natalia. And, and she just said that it was tough because you couldn't really go out. And I know she was only swimming a couple days, but you got guys like in swimming, Caleb Dressel, who's swimming every single day, who wasn't allowed to leave basically because he was still competing. He wasn't allowed to leave. She was only doing a couple days. So once she's done, she's like, oh, I can go out and experience the city and be perfectly fine because I'm not at the Olympics anymore.
Yeah.
But for him, it's tough, and it's going to be tough for all these other athletes too.
Yeah. I hope it can be a somewhat normal experience. I at least for a viewing experience for myself, I hope that I can, enjoy it how I've enjoyed other Winter Olympics in the past.
Oh, so yeah.
That's something I'd look forward to. Another sport I'm big on as well is watching the skiing and the snowboarding because I'm a big mountain fan. Yeah.
It's amazing what those guys can do and ladies can do is just straight up unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. I really look forward to watching it again. So it's going to be hopefully it's a ton of fun. I mean, hopefully hockey can make something out of it, even though they're going to go with amateurs. Maybe we see another Miracle on Ice. But
yeah.
We'll have to.
Hey, it gives these kids a great opportunity.
Yeah.
Honestly, I do believe that it should be amateurs, but also like hockey, it's a completely different story. But it's going to be cool to watch. You're going to see maybe some names you're going to see in the NHL in a couple years.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a lot of fun to watch. So we're going to have to see how that all ends up. But Tyler, that's all we have in sports news for the night. But I figured before we end up leaving and going on our holiday break and doing what needs to be done and enjoying
calling back that no caller ID.
Yeah. And doing everything we need to do. I figured since it's, around Christmas time, I wanted to talk to you about some of your favorite things around this holiday season. It could be maybe a favorite movie that you love to watch, a family tradition that you think is kind of unique to yourself, anything at all, bring it up and, talk about it. What's something that you really enjoy about this time?
Something I used to really love about Christmas was on Christmas Day and Christmas Eve, we'd always watch A Christmas Story. That movie would always be on. My family always gets the biggest laugh out of seeing the leg lamp. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever seen A Christmas Story, but that leg lamp that he gets, and my dad used to always say when the guy reads the box, the dad reads the box, he writes, fragile or fragile, and he's like, must be French. And my dad loves saying that. He still says it, even when it's not Christmas. He always says it. But that was always what I always used to love. And then my cousins sitting around, we always used to watch it. We before my Nana sadly passed away, she'd always give us the same gift. All the grandkids, all the boys would get a Hess truck. And she'd always get us a Hess truck. That was something. Once we all open our presents, we'd go down the basement. We'd immediately put the batteries in and play with them. And I got the rest of them stacked up behind my door.
Oh, shoot.
But it's just that's something I used to love about Christmas, getting the Hess truck, But I don't know. But what about you? What do you love about Christmas? And speaking of family too, gotta love that.
Oh yeah, well I like how you kind of had a Christmas story. My family just has an absurd obsession with the movie Elf. It's unreal. And it like every single year Elf is, at least on once. Sometimes we even watch it after Christmas. Yeah, because once Christmas is over, like immediately, like the day after, we'll sometimes go up to Maine to go skiing up at Sugarloaf Mountain, which is a ton of fun to do. I love skiing up there. And when we do that, it still kind of feels like Christmas time because it just happened. So you throw on Elf and you throw on a Christmas movie and you'll sometimes watch it then. And usually we're up there to celebrate my brother's birthday is when we would usually go up there. So that was always a ton of fun. And in terms of traditions, one of the things that we do is my cousin Keith and then her roommate and then his roommate Karen, they have this tradition that they do. They're in their 40s and whatnot, but they will always like try to devise something funny to do around the holidays, kind of like a holiday prank. And last year it fell on me to do this. So,
oh boy.
Like they visited on Christmas Eve last year. So a year ago yesterday, they came here. We were all outside because we were kind of still like all skeptical because of COVID and whatnot. So we had a fire outside. It was really nice. And it was a ton of fun to be out there. And what they did is they pulled me aside at one point and they ended up saying, "Hey, Brian, we have a mission for you." I was like, "What do you want me to do?" And,
oh boy.
And they proceed to hand me a pack of 10 googly eyes. And they end up saying, just put these anywhere in the house tomorrow. And I was like,
that's
all right.
Awesome.
I was like, all right, I understand the assignment, because typically they like to do gag gifts. Like, I guess
love gag gifts.
Actually, stay here for 1 second. I'll grab one of the ones that I got from last year. And 1 second.
I can't wait to see this. What do we think it's going to be? Anyone that's listening, watching, what do we think? I don't even know.
All right, I'm back. I don't know if you said anything while I was gone, but
I did. You'll see it later.
Oh boy, I can only imagine. But one of the gag gifts I got were it was a flask mitten.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So whenever you're cold outside, you can put these things on. There's a little bag.
Booze in there.
There's a little bag on the inside. I was given these under the advice that I hold these until my 21st birthday, but I just happened to find them. And everything's all good. So, but yeah, you can just be chilling outside, have your little mittens on, and then have a little flap right here.
See, that's just awesome. I want those.
So yeah, exactly. So it's a ton of fun little gag gifts like that. And they like to do little pranks. So they hand me, I'm just chilling out one day and they hand me 10 googly eyes and they say, do with these what you want. So I put them on the Christmas ham that we were going to have that next day. I put, my family has a set of wine bottles set out just on a display. So I put a couple of them on the corks, just kind of inconspicuously, hid them around the house. And we just kind of like to do little pranks and have a bunch of fun around the holidays. So it's always good fun. I really enjoy just kind of hanging out with my family because it's a ton of fun. Another fun Christmas story that I have, this is actually back, I think I was around maybe 12, 13 years old is when this happened. And I was hanging out with my great grandmother, who also unfortunately is no longer with us, passed away in 2019. But before she ended up moving back in with my grandmother, she had a apartment that was kind of close by. And I remember we were spending Christmas Eve over at her place that year. Went out and got food with my grandmother, brought it back to her place, and we were getting some stuff ready. And all of a sudden, we're all at this party, and one of us, and like we end up going to let in one of the other guests. I think it was my Aunt Tracy and her husband Randy, and we get up to go let them in. And all of a sudden, we realize that the front door to the apartment is locked, and we're locked in an apartment on Christmas Eve. And
oh my God.
Yeah. So we're all stuck in this apartment. Luckily, like, we have plenty of food, but we're all just like, are we going to get out of here before Christmas Day? Like it's just like, what fire department is like, are we going to have to call the fire department on Christmas Eve and get broken out of this place? Like, we had no idea. We had no idea what was going to happen. Luckily, my Aunt Tracy's husband, Randy, he basically is just like your everyday handyman. So he just had a toolkit and basically just disassembled the door to this place. And just on the spot. Just like,
that's awesome.
Just disassembled the door, took the lock off, and just, was able to kind of just save the day and, allowed us to be able to leave at the end of the night. It was like,
not all heroes wear capes.
But for like a solid, I think like hour and a half to 2 hours, we're all just saying, oh, we're locked inside. But it was nice because like we were all with each other. So like we weren't like worried.
Yeah.
But it was nice, but we were all just like, what the heck is happening?
What's going to happen? What are we going to do, man?
And because it's not really the biggest apartment. And there was like maybe 15, 20 of us. So it was like who's sleeping on the floor? I obviously was going to be one of them. So I was not too happy about
that. Damn.
But man, I love Christmas memories like that. I hope to make some more down the line. So I'm really excited for what's going to happen, at this Christmas and ones beyond. But Tyler, I think it's time to now say that in this second annual holiday special, we are now officially down to the wire. Man, I'm so glad for having you on this show today, but I think it's time that we wrap up what we talked about and send you guys into the holiday in style.
Christmas, wrap it up. Oh,
obviously you love to see it, Tyler. And I think it's only appropriate to say that we started off this show by having us join up once again. I'm glad that you were able to join me during this. And we ended up starting things off by talking about Adam Silver saying that the show must go on. The NBA will continue despite the current COVID surge, and they have no plans to shut down. Hopefully that continues. I'm really hopeful that they don't go the way they did of March 2020 and shut all this crap down. But here's to that. Because of the whole COVID spike in the NBA, we've seen guys like ISO Joe Johnson make his return to the NBA. We've seen Isaiah Thomas back. Oh yeah, that bucket by Joe Johnson was so nice. This man still got it at 40 years old. Love to see it.
ISO Joe.
It's amazing. We talked about whether the NBA should adopt the NFL's policy of no longer testing fully vaccinated players unless they're showing symptoms. And
only Roger Goodell compliment I'll ever give.
Yeah, really. The only one I can think of. I mean, unless he goes back on it, and which in that case, everything's off the table. But then going off that, we talked about the Staples Center being renamed to the Crypto.com Arena, a name that it's a name I'm gonna have to get used to myself. So I'm like you guys, I'm still very apprehensive to it. But after that, we talked about the New England Patriots having to overcome their loss to the Colts and how they're going to fare against Buffalo on Sunday. Me and Tyler got into
mac and cheese.
Yeah. Me and Tyler got into kind of a debate as to whether, the Patriots have earned, this record that they have so far. I'm still a little skeptical. I think this win against Buffalo is the chance to really separate yourself and prove, all right, like we're one of the contenders and we're not just like one of these guys that beat up on, bad teams and just get great situations. I want to see the Pats face a team and actually have good success. And, a good team and be able to show, all right, we can persevere through this. So that's something I'm really excited for. Hopefully they can prove that on Boxing Day. But after that, we ended things off talking about the NHL players pulling out of the Olympics due to COVID issues and all the implications that has. And then obviously after we were finished up with sports news, we ended up talking about some of our favorite holiday traditions and stories surrounding the holiday. But Tyler, it's been an amazing time having you on the show, but I got to say, for anyone that's listened so far, me and Tyler have said it a bunch of times. If you guys are not falling down to the wire yet, man.
What are you doing, man? What is going on? It's so easy. Instagram, Twitter, Spotify, you name it, we there. YouTube, click it, subscribe, follow.
Easy.
Boom.
You just have to the main hub. Just follow us on our Instagram. We'll give you any updates surrounding stuff at down.to-the-wire.
At down.to-the-wire.
There we go.
Where's my Staples? That was easy button. Speaking of the Staples Center, where's my Staples? That was easy button. That's how easy it is.
Easy.
So easy. I mean,
listen, we're finishing off 2021 on a high note. We got some amazing stuff planned for 2022. But listen, man, from the holiday special here at DTW, I'm Brian Costa.
And I'm Tyler Stringfellow.
And we will see you guys next time. Take care. Peace out.